Red is on.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the Thursday, October 18th, 2018 Selectmen's meeting. We have an abbreviated meeting this evening until 5:30. First thing we're going to do is have pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excellent. Test one. Yep. Okay, let's see. First thing, we do have church. Which reminds me of return. Sure.
Somebody send a pen down for me because I came up with nothing. Absolutely nothing. Thank you. It was going to be so abbreviated.
Okay, the first thing we had was the town administrator's report. We do have somebody that's here that's requesting, a citizen requesting to talk to us. So I'm going to do that. Does it involve any individuals or like that?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
And one of the town departments, yeah.
Okay, since it's an individual person.
Well, can we ask, are you specifically going to name those people?
I don't have to, but I can, whatever way you want to go. And we can do this anytime, but I'd like to address it.
Well, the question
If
is whether it's non-public or public. So if
Right.
we're going to,
Directly involving a person, it goes into an employee of the town of Tilton, it goes into non-public.
No, it would be against any employee of the town.
as long as it's not derogatory towards
No, it's
anyone.
not.
Except for us, we're
Yeah.
immune to that.
No, we can keep it good.
As long as nothing involved with personnel or anything like that.
No.
Well, let's start public.
We'll start public then.
Okay.
Fund out.
Thank you.
Just say your name,
Hello.
please, for the...
Yes, Dana DeCormia? Thank you. Hello, people.
There we go.
Can you spell your last name, please?
Yes. DeCormia?
Yeah.
D-C-O-R-M-I-E-R.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to bring to your attention is I've had an ongoing issue. Actually, it started last winter. And I was walking my property up on 164 Caleb Hill Road. And down in the corner lot of my property, I noticed trees cut down. So I went to the police department and I found out what had happened. My neighbors had trespassed on my property, cut my trees down, and took the wood. So, like I said, I went to the police station, and it was kind of just left at that. Then it was months before, and I told one of the officers that I wanted to press charges for trespassing and taking my property. Well, we can't just do that. We can't just press charges. We'll have to investigate. Well, then,
What's this?
back in, I want to say February. That's why it's been an ongoing thing. So months went by. I even got one of the foresters from the forestry department. I have his name. It's Captain Newell, and he came up to my property and he looked the situation over and he says, "Absolutely, you have a issue here and it should be resolved." So it was months. I never got a report. I even went and got legal counsel. And he says, "Well, do you have a police report?" I said, "No." I went and I asked for one. The officer never got back to me. Finally, I went down, I saw the chief, and amazingly, the next day, he had a report done. So, and then, so we didn't pursue anything to the fact it was going to be very involved. So I went down to the chief personally, and I asked him, I said, I still want to press charges for the trespassing and taking of my wood. Now, mind you, this was back at the end of July. Well, it's been like 3 months. I haven't heard back from the chief. I called him last Thursday and left a voicemail, and I still haven't heard back from him. So I guess I come to you as a select board, is I'd like to put this issue to rest and have the, proper thing done.
Yep.
So, I mean, I explained to the chief, he says, we just can't arrest people. I said, it's pretty black and white. I said, they trespassed on my property, they cut the trees, and they took them. And I was never ever contacted as to why they were cut down. But when the officer spoke to the neighbors, they said, apparently, allegedly, that during one of the ice storms, and I'm sure that the branches were broke and whatnot, hanging precariously over their cars and their driveway, which is fine, but that doesn't give you the right to come over on my property and cut the trees. If you want to, you can cut back to the property line. And I know that because I do that with the state on a constant basis. So, like I said, therefore, I'm thinking you stole my property. I want my property back. So,
What did they do with the wood?
I have no clue. I'll tell you this though: the comment that she made to the Captain Newell from the forestry department was when he addressed her. He says, "Well, if he wants his trees back, he can pay me the $900 and something it cost me to hire the guy to cut them." I'm thinking, you want me to buy my own property back? Wrong. So,
How many trees?
there was four ash trees, and I will honestly say they weren't in the best of health. I had heart rot and a couple of the bigger ones, but they ranged from 8 inches. There was a clump of them. I got some pictures, but like I said, I know you're on a limited schedule, so I have pictures and whatnot. And they range from 8 inches to 26 inches. And then, on top of that, where they cut
26 inches in
diameter. Yeah. And,
Good size ash.
yeah, and he said, the forester says, he says, I can find them. He says, but cordwood on the stump is only worth like $10 a cord. And I said, well, I don't care. I said, it's what it is. And I said, and quite honestly, if I had the cord wood, I could split that up, and I could sell it at a cheap rate at $200 a cord. So I'm looking at $600. So, like I said, this has been ongoing, and I would like to get it resolved.
Do you have any documentation to who and what times that you spoke to whomever through last December, whatever? Do you have any of that all documented so that whomever, I'd love to follow up on it, but do you have that so that we can follow up with the issue and go to the, I'd like to take it to the sergeant, not the chief.
Okay, because quite honestly, I didn't, because I didn't think it would come to this.
Okay.
But they should have, I would assume, they should have some records of me.
Pat, call for service.
Yeah.
They count everything.
Well, you spoke, I'm not only looking for that, but you did speak with somebody in forestry.
Yes.
I didn't know if you
He
had
was
that
supposed to
document.
write up a report as well.
And do you have that or no?
I don't have a
Okay,
report.
got it.
He should.
Okay.
There
Well, I
finally
mean,
was
the
a
fact
police
is,
report,
there was a
right?
police report.
There
so
should be.
There was
Yeah.
not
Corporal
that
Penalt
thing.
was supposed to do that.
That was around July that you spoke to him.
Yeah.
You asked him why, and then he came up with it a couple days later, the chief.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
we could-
you're right now looking for follow-up on the police report and action taken,
Yes.
and, okay,
Yeah.
so you can
Okay.
pursue it
And I
further.
do have, it's Captain Brian Nowell. He's with the forestry department for the state, and I do have his office and cell phone. And like I said, I did seek
Can we
legal-
make a copy of that card?
Yeah, I didn't, it's not even a card, I just,
But can you just take it out so that we can just make a copy of that?
yes,
Throw it in the machine.
yes. Oh, sorry, here you go. Here we go. And another issue aside, I see why all the good police officers are moving to Florida and Plymouth. Mr. Dawson, I enjoyed this. But, and I told the officers this, when I left for a vacation back in April, I left on a Friday because we left the country. I went down on a Thursday and I filed the paperwork for a residential check while I was gone. Because I don't have the best of neighbors up there. So being the old hillbilly I am, we put up a couple game cameras on the house, both sides of it. Well, in 7 days, how many times do you think our local PD came on my residential check? Never mind walk around the house, how many times do you think they drove in the yard to look? 0. I went down, I addressed that, I said, what's the sense of me having to fill out a residential check? So I really have...
All that does is confirm to them when you get broken into, oh yeah, they're not here.
Okay.
So, but it's just, and that's why I found, you know, with the things that go on, and I said, well, I'll go to the select.
Thank you for coming in.
And like I said, I mean, I just would like, it's gone on long enough, I'd like it resolved. I appreciate your time.
Okay,
Thank you,
yeah,
I
thank you very
appreciate
much. We will get back to you this
Okay,
week.
I look forward to that. So,
Yeah.
Mr. DeComi,
Yes.
what's your phone number?
it's 603-470-6299. Thank you.
I would like to follow up with that with Nate.
And the chief? I'm happy to do that for you if you like.
I'd like to do it.
Well, we,
And I should say
about
that
As
the mess
liaison.
that they left as well, down in the corner. I mean, I could pick it up, I don't want to. So,
Oh, I understand.
Okay.
all right, well, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very
Anything
much.
else? Yeah, thank you. Yeah. All right,
Thanks for
fellas.
coming. Nice meeting you.
All right, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Yes, I miss Mr. Dawson. Are you?
Always a pleasure,
Thank you,
Dana.
thank you. All right, I'll let you guys, hey, thank you.
Okay.
To enjoy your short meeting.
Thank you.
All right, have a good night.
You too.
Thanks. Okay,
How are we going to handle this?
Well, like I say, I'm happy
As
to follow
liaison,
up.
I'd really like to follow up on it.
We get the chief, and we should be asking the police department, right?
He's on vacation.
So,
Until when?
he's been here before about the same issue.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, so we tell him it was a civil issue?
There was a different slide to what he was bringing up before about there was a different issue
This is new,
about
that-
who trespassed
Right,
and
that was
what.
different. That was
The-
dogs.
That's right.
I quite frankly would like to hear firsthand from the chief. So why don't we have him come in next Thursday night? That way we can all hear from him.
He's coming in anyway.
He's scheduled to come in.
Okay,
Yeah.
including
Okay.
our town administrator, so we can all hear.
Well, let's have him prepared though when he comes in and not just ask him.
I don't know, as he should be. I'd like to
Well,
hear.
well,
But
any
he can have
information,
some documentation, maybe if he has any.
Yeah, you're just kicking the can then, because we'll have to wait for another week, because he's gonna have to go back to it,
Yeah.
investigate and get to us. I'd rather him know and,
Get his facts together and be ready to answer some questions, because the civil aspects of this aside, the fact that the police department didn't get his report back to him, and I don't like that, to hear those kind of reports about the service from the police department. All the other issues aside, although there are other issues. So we need to ask the chief. I need to.
okay, so we'll put him on the agenda for next Thursday
He's
and
coming
have
in
him
next already.
and
He's
make sure
coming
he's
in.
prepared to figure out what's going on down there. Okay, the next,
So it still doesn't resolve who the board wants to talk with the chief ahead of time.
Just have Gail tell him that he's on the agenda, why he's on the agenda, and please bring some
Well,
answers.
if you remember from our last meeting, the select board agreed that we were going to get on a regular schedule with the planning department, with the police department, and with the DPW. And the chief is scheduled to come in next week anyway, so I will just call him and tell him this is one other
Perfect.
thing on his agenda.
Perfect.
be ready for many questions.
I was at the trail auction last week,
Oh,
so
wow.
I didn't know
So
that.
what would be the purpose of the liaison's position then?
This isn't about that, though.
Okay, let's move on.
I don't think.
Let's move on.
You have some minutes to approve.
minutes for Thursday, September 27, 2018.
The first paragraph, page 1 of 2, when you're talking about the budget, about the first large paragraph, it says Selectmen Scanlon looking at a flat budget is great, but we also need to look at a flat budget.
Yeah.
So we need more scrutiny on a one-time items.
Yeah, I think
Doesn't make
it was
sense.
made to look at a zero budget.
It says
Start
that
with zero.
too.
And that, right there, it goes more into it below, but
Well, it says flat budget twice.
Yeah.
That's the problem. The rest of it is good.
I didn't hear you, Catherine.
It says, like you said, it says flat budget twice. Looking at a flat budget is great, but we also need to look at a flat budget.
Okay, so we'll take out, we need to look at the flat budget.
I would take out the last half of the sentence, yeah, but. And then Selectmen said looking at a flat budget is great, but maybe you should say it's great, but we also need more scrutiny on one-time items. What do you
I
think,
was
John?
looking at a zero budget, starting at zero and working up, and that's what was
How do
pretty
you want
clear
to
That's
about.
what you said.
How do you want to tie into, so we need more scrutiny on one-time items? Because that's the rest of the sentence.
Which would provide more scrutiny on one time.
He does
Oh,
talk
there we
about
go. Which
zero.
we would provide.
And I know it says below.
Did you get that? Yeah. How they wanted that changed?
No, I didn't.
Catherine, do you want to repeat that again for,
Well, John said it.
John?
Selectman Scanlon, so John, listen, Selectman Scanlon said looking at a flat budget is great.
And we're taking out the budget.
And then we're taking out, but we also need to look at a flat budget. And then, no, that doesn't make sense. So it would say Selectman Scanlon said looking at a flat budget is great, which more scrutiny on one-time items. With more scrutiny on one-time items?
No, it should be but.
So, yeah,
But we need more scrutiny on one-time items.
And-
Yeah.
But we need, gotcha, yep.
Because you're right.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of Thursday, September 27th as corrected.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, to accept the minutes of September 22nd as corrected. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Abstain.
So moved. Next one we have is the minutes of Thursday, October 4th, 2018.
I have a correction, page 2 of 4. I'm still waiting for an answer from Tim. Not Pat will speak with the chief for clarification on the Tango Run. That was very clearly asked of the chief. Tim explained the chief signs off on the payroll and he would get back to us with an answer. That he has yet to do. That was not Pat was going to ask the chief.
In the public section where I mentioned that the guardrail replacing, was that the posts need replacing.
So it's the guardrail posts?
All the posts are, 30% of them have failed.
It's frightening.
And I know I said something about the road eroding away right up to the edge of the pavement. Same thing.
Kevin, did you ever find out any more about the True Green accident and claim files? Claims?
I just have a question. It's not a correction. Where it says, I asked about the schedule and what day to hold the employee Christmas party. Selectman Scanlon asked to table this discussion and add it to next week's agenda.
Where,
This was October 4th. Is it on next week's agenda?
It is.
make a motion to accept the minutes of Thursday, October 4th, 2018 as correct.
10-4.
October 4th. Yeah. If I didn't say October 4th, that's what I meant. As correct.
So we have a motion and a second to accept the minutes of Thursday, October 4th as corrected. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
While we're still fresh with the minutes, would it be appropriate for us to send a thank you note to Senator Guida for his work on the sinkhole since it's completed?
I think that would be appropriate, send a thank you note for the work that he has done for the sinkhole, along with working on the other projects we had in town.
He hasn't had successful
And we look
progress.
forward
Winter
to,
Street.
and we look forward to his work on,
Winter Street, Kayla Phil, getting that.
no, and we look forward to his work on the
His continued
Support,
success with our other projects?
continued
Okay,
success
based
of
on
his
that
others.
argument, I would say yes, we should send him a letter. Because otherwise, he's doing what he was elected to do.
Well,
Yeah, thank you, but I don't see any need to be that efficient.
Well, we'll
However,
be on.
I think that's a good idea, Kat.
Well, it's a
Election
special
year.
effort on every
Hey,
side.
I don't ever remember getting a thank you.
You used to come and see us and we could thank you in person. We don't have many that did that.
He's coming on a regular basis.
He is now, but I
Yeah,
never
it's
seen him
election year.
before.
Well, it's
Yeah.
election time.
Jeannie used to come all the time.
Because I like you guys.
Well, I don't know, because I haven't been here myself.
He did start.
If
Alright,
you read his
moving
letter
on.
he mailed out, because I got one, I think he had some family issues he was dealing with when he was first elected, impacted his ability to get out.
I think I heard that very same thing.
Yeah.
I know he was beneficial with that, getting the cable fill that put back on the plan. He and Councilor Kenny did some great work for us. Yeah, a thank you note.
I'll take care of it.
Let's go right into, how are we doing, Chris?
Party time.
You don't need to hear from me.
Okay, yeah, administrator's report.
Okay. The first thing, you should have gotten in your packet an updated permit fee schedule, and Dari is here. We need to have you approve that. Dari's here to answer any questions if you have any.
Where's the old one? What's the old one?
Or to recap?
I have copies of the old here, if you need them.
Well, I have two
Oh, I
here.
see, you need to know which is the old.
These are the same.
This is old, so they're,
Derek, do you think you could tell us which things
So you're
changed?
taking out 20
Probably you're familiar with.
cents square
Yeah.
foot.
So, for example,
You can come up here to that mic so that
okay,
a lot of people will be interested in this.
we drew a distinction between structural and non-structural alterations as sort of as along the lines of what we talked about when I initially met with you guys on that. I think that's maybe the most important change. As you see with residential, non-structural alterations are now a flat $50 fee where they used to be lumped in with structural type changes where it was $50 plus 15 cents a square foot. So though that applies to both residential and commercial, no changes were made to electrical and plumbing permits or no changes to demolition permits and no changes to certificates of occupancy. The idea is a lot of the feedback we were getting was that was the point of contention. The very small routine, well I don't say routine, but maintenance type projects that people were getting fees in the hundreds of dollars for. I think that was the issue. That's what the message I got from you is that what I was what needed to be addressed. So that's where we've made the change.
So when I look at under commercial and multifamily, non-structural alterations, maintenance and repairs, over 1,000 square foot roof, you still have to pay $250.
Mhm.
To replace the shingles on your building.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, there's a,
And what's the definition of or maintenance of sidings? Is painting? I paint my house, I need...
No, we
Well,
wouldn't charge for painting.
I don't know, because I'm looking
But
at
it doesn't say
Okay, so
that.
change it. I mean, that's whatever you want it to be, we'll make it.
I think the price is too high, that's what we heard
I'm
from...
wondering if we should have maintenance in there. I mean, I can see alterations, because you're structurally changing the building, well,
Put on a deck.
you're changing it, right.
yeah.
And, but then my question is, what's the difference between repairs and maintenance? I mean, just routine painting? And if I'm putting on a roof, sometimes, I mean, that's maintenance, roofs only last, what, 20 years?
Shingles, yeah.
But is that considered a repair, or is that considered maintenance?
Maintenance.
And, I mean, I think we want people to keep their buildings looking good, because, makes a better
Certainly, but
town.
why are we charging a fee to replace one shingles? What do they get in return for that money spent? Does anybody come out and look at the job and say, yeah, it's good, or do we warrant that? And then what kind of liability do we have for that?
Well, state law pretty much indemnifies the town from liability if something goes wrong with a project that was inspected by the town. So, yeah, I mean, as I said last time, I think that's a lot of the argument. People feel like we're not really getting much for all this money, so that's why we reduce them.
We're collecting money as a town, certainly, but I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around the fact that I would have to pay that money to put new shingles on my roof.
Yeah, I'm not pushing for anything.
Uh-huh.
This is scaled back in what I took away from our conversation, and we can continue to scale back as far as you guys want. If you want to,
I just want to be fair.
Yeah, and that's certainly,
You pay a fee for an inspection that holds no water.
Kinda, and maybe you're not
that's how
getting
it's
the
always-
inspection.
That's how it's
So-
done. That's,
Which is a good thing.
Dari,
I don't think so if I'm paying the money. I'm getting ripped off.
have
Well,
you,
if not, everybody would be suing the town for everything that went wrong.
have you compared our permit fee schedule to like-sized towns?
Yes, yeah. I can't remember when we made changes. I think 2 or 3 years ago, we looked at all the towns in the area. For these changes, I specifically went looking for towns in the area that were low, that had some lower fees for maintenance type projects. I think it was Belmont, Guilford that I looked at, but don't quote me on that. I certainly have that in my notes. But yes, we did certainly look at other towns.
So I guess my question to the board is, what is your philosophy? Do you want to encourage repairs and maintenance, and does this reflect that? Or, to the point that you're encouraging that, but still getting some kind of...
I feel like the main purpose of this is, okay, I put new shingles on the house. I come in now, planning department knows, I'm not trying to hide nothing, but so does the assessor. So all of a sudden, my assessment is now subject to a different interpretation. And I've had to pay $100 for the privilege. As a taxpayer, it just, and I understand that what other towns do, but I don't like that either. So I have to think about.
Part of the issue is that the complaints that we're getting is the fees are exorbitant, and that they're paying, somewhere up in the $500 mark to repair put shingles on a roof, and that nobody's following up. They don't get a certificate, they don't get a permit, they don't get a piece of paper that says you've paid this and you got a permit, and that nobody goes out and follows up to make sure that is done right. So for $500, what do they get? So if I have a multifamily, which I do, I'm going to pay $300 or $250, and for what? Just so that it gives me permission. I'd be under a 2-family. I'm sorry. So I'd still pay money, and part of the argument with residents and commercial people coming in are saying, I don't get a permit that says I paid this fee, and nobody follows up to see that it's done right.
So would you like to
And they're
go back
exorbitant.
and work on it a little more?
That's part of what we're looking at. So
Well, you know, I think that
I don't know what the
when
answer is.
Might be
you
a consultant
structurally
right now.
alter a building, you know, the first part, additions, structural alterations, structural repairs, there's obvious work that the code enforcement officer is gonna have to do, and you're altering a building.
Yep.
For me, that makes sense. There should be fees. There is great expense. But for alterations, maintenance, and repairs that are non-structural, if I'm going to paint my house, I don't like the looks of my shutters, and I'm going to get new ones, I don't think people should have to pay a building permit fee, because they're going to be, their assessment's going to go up. If I decide, you know what, I need a new roof, the old one's expired, it's old, it's leaky, and I'm going to get a metal roof. Well, that's going to increase my assessed value of my home. My taxes are going to go up, so I'm going to pay for that. Well, should they have to pay a building permit fee to just maintain their home, or even their commercial building? If I'm going to paint it and make it look good, which is going to drive up the assessed value, and it's going to make our town look good. And instead of having a shanty town, people are going to drive through and say, wow, this is a nice town. I want to live here, or I want to have a business here. I don't think that should generate a building permit fee.
One of the things, you know, even though a roofing may be considered as non-structural, it actually is, because you can't put more than a certain number of layers of shingles on there. There's low values in that. So there should be some type of inspection to make sure that it was done per code to do that. You could put 4 or 5 layers of shingles on the house, which would be very dangerous. I would think that what we should do is, for the commercial, have it non-structural as $50, which is enough to cover an expense for the building inspector to go out there, take a look at it, make sure there's not 4 layers of shingles as opposed to 3. And
Is that
I don't
flat?
know.
And then over 2,000 square feet, it should go to $100, because that's usually involving very large roofs that take a little bit more inspection. And if you notice, there is a typo in that, because you probably meant to say over 1,000, under 1,000 square feet for that first line.
So what first line?
If you look non-structural, commercial, multifamily, should be under 1,000 square feet, I think is what you meant.
Over 1,000 square feet is $250. Under 1,000 square feet is $100. That's the way it's written. That's, I believe.
Because
what
that's
I-
backwards, because it should cost more for a large area. instead of
Over,
less.
It's what it
over
says.
1,000 square feet, 250. Under.
Oh, I crossed this out.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
okay,
My
yeah, no,
ignorance.
all right.
So,
So
what I
you're saying over 2,000?
Yeah. So, I would like to make a motion that we change it to under 1,000 square feet to $50,
This is commercial.
commercial,
You mean under 2,000? Sorry.
you know?
Okay.
I'm going to change this, I'll go back to it. My motion is to change it to under 1,000 square feet, $50, over under 2,000 square feet, $50, over 2,000 square feet, $100. And that would allow sufficient funds to do an actual inspection. And I think we would get an inspection.
So I'll second it for the sake of
Can you
discussion.
repeat that just one more time? I didn't,
Okay, I apologize.
okay, I got it,
Okay.
thank you. I got it, thanks. Thank you, Kathy.
Under 2,050, over 2,000, 100.
Okay, so at that point, the code enforcement officer would indeed go out to check code enforcement issues on that property. That would kick that in.
Right. Yeah.
with no liability, so what good is it? I'm not sure.
Well, just code enforcement issues, Peter.
I
We have
understand, but
codes
if he
that he's-
approves something that's wrong, he can't go after the town.
Pat? And,
I have something to say about this. I don't know how many years ago we changed this. We changed it based on the code enforcement officer coming to us and giving us a logical explanation of what was there. We, on the board, sat here. I am not intelligent enough to know about construction, building, what needs to go here or there or anything. I depend on the expertise of the men and women that we hire to do the job that they're supposed to be doing. So I don't feel at this point in time, right here now, that we're trying, because we've had so many complaints about this construction permit fee schedule, that Dari's trying to come within a happy medium here, that we should be making a motion to set in stone and change this now without having all the research done that we're capable of doing. And I don't think anyone here on the board is capable of making this kind of decision and just say, okay, non-structural. Well, what does non-structural mean? We really need to answer some of these questions before we make the changes. Otherwise, a year from now, the next board's going to say, well, you know, the board before you were going to make all these changes, and they just sat here and made the changes based on whatever. And let's not do that to ourselves. Let's think about what we're doing and make a logical change to what we want to do. We listened to 3 or 4 different people and written complaints and phone calls, and I think that we really need to think about this and come up with a happy medium. It's not we're not going to be able to please everyone, and it's not really about the money. It's about what the town and our expectations of what the code enforcement's position is about, and what Dari's expectations about the permit fee schedule is about, and I think we should rely on that. End of discussion.
Want to like table it until...
I would like Dari to go back with our input and do a little bit more research with our input that we just had here at the table, and say, you know, John had some good points, Joe had good points, Catherine had good points, Peter, and let me see what I can come up with. I gather I'm in the ballpark. I get it. I think it's in the ballpark, but it's not quite what we're looking at. I think it's a little bit high, and also the definitions of, you know, we don't want to get hung up with alteration, maintenance, and repair. The definitions of that, I think, would need to be a little bit more accurate. So, and I think that's what I'm hearing here tonight. So
you want to table it and
that's
more
what
information?
that's what I would like to do.
You have to withdraw the motion.
Anybody else?
Had a motion to table?
You have a motion to table?
We got a motion hanging on the table right now.
We do.
That-
A motion
That
to
was my
table,
2 cents.
right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
We got a motion to
I'll make a
table.
motion to table that motion.
Okay, so we have a motion to table. Does that require a second?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Anybody,
Second.
do we have a second to table? We have a second. Is there a motion and a second to table for, get some more information and checking into it? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
So move, so we'll table it. You had some information, and anybody else, any suggestions?
Well, I mean, I would just say, I do think, you know, Jeannie mentioned the philosophy, you know, what's your philosophy? And I think that's really at the heart of this matter. And so I can certainly go back and do a little homework, but I really do think it's a matter of this reflecting what you guys feel is fair. And, you know, as we talked about previously, when I came to you to talk about bringing a new person into the department, I brought a lot of facts and figures, and I said, you know, we're bringing in more permit fees so we can afford this person. And I think, you know, if we make this change, it's I won't be coming back here anymore saying, look, we're bringing in a whole lot more money, so we need to expand this part. I think we're sort of accepting that the two are not necessarily supposed to match. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like I'm going to go back and run numbers as far as our budget. You know, how much do we need to bring in? So I think largely it's going to be a number that just sits well with
Ethically.
us. Yeah.
It feels good with people feel it's
Right.
fair bang for the buck.
And I don't care what other towns do.
I would talk with builders, I would talk with contractors, I would talk with
So can
people.
we feel we got, we're gonna table it. And,
Couple weeks.
week or two. Is anybody being affected by this being delayed?
Because of the time of year, we're not getting nearly the number of permit fees. It seems like for however we're doing it, we're working through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No,
But we want to get it, like Pat said, get it
Yeah,
right.
we don't want to keep bringing it every year. That's true. Yeah.
No seesaw fees.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
All
excellent.
right.
Thanks
Thank you.
for
Thank you. Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, the next action item I have is the MS1, which I just passed down for your signature. There were 2 changes to that included Liberty Utilities and the New Hampshire Electric Co-op.
Do we have a written town administrative agenda, or are you just
I'm just
taking it
reading
from?
off my notes.
Got it. All right. Didn't know if I was missing anything.
Nope.
Joe, there's an extra signage for the welcome manifesto.
Yeah, I haven't signed any up through this part.
So if you don't have any questions about the MS1, I'll just move on to the next item. That is the NNETC 2016-2017 appeal that I sent to you on October 16th via email. For you to take a look at. It needs to be approved.
Need a motion for that?
Yes, and basically all you're doing is you're authorizing Avatar to enter into a negotiation.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
All right,
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Done.
Okay. I think Kevin's been doing a great job in his new position. He's, as you know, the sinkhole at Deer Street's been finished. Just update on some things that are outstanding. The senior center floor is pending, but that is going to be fixed before the snow flies. The front doors, if you should have gotten Kevin's report, so you know the front doors are not going to be refinished until the spring because now it's too cold. Waiting for my second quote for the repointing project that we've talked about. And I think I might have mentioned to you before what I would like to do is, at least what I'm hearing, we're not in imminent danger of the wall falling, and what I would like to do is investigate grant funding that might be out there to pay for this. And that would come in the spring.
please.
I attended a Right to Know workshop this week, which was very interesting. And as we move into November, what I'd like to do is be able to come back to all of you and make my recommendations about some things that we might want to do and what my goals are. And that will be included in that. I delivered the photo to Franklin.
Oh,
They were very happy.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
okay.
Thank you.
Have we notified any applicants for the Public Works Director? Has that all been taken care of?
Well, I'm sorry?
The applicants for the Public Works Director, because we hadn't announced that yet, so we need to notify anybody else first.
That's been done.
That's all done, so.
That was in non-public. I would get direction from Catherine to see if we can't announce that now. Because we make a motion to unseal that portion of the non-public minutes.
Yeah, so we'd have to make a motion to unseal that portion of the non-public minutes and announce officially our Public Works Director. Right? So,
I'll make a motion to unseal the minutes of the non-public minutes directly associated with appointing a new Public Works Director.
Second.
a motion in a second to unseal
So
them?
you're specifically unsealing just the portion so we can announce,
So that we can announce
not the rest of the language, the dialogue.
nothing else, just the
Decision made.
just the decision made so that we can announce who the new Public Works Director is.
Okay, so we have a
For
motion in a
clarity.
second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. So I guess we can announce that we've hired Kevin Well, we've promoted and changed his position as the new Public Works Director. And it's official, and we hope that he'll stay with us for quite a while and do a great job. He's been covering for a few months, 3 months, 4 months, 2 months?
Yeah,
About 2 months. And doing a good job, and we hope that will work out going forward. So it's official. We have a Public Works Director again.
Hey, Kevin.
Anything else?
I'm all set. Unless you have questions for me or something you'd like me to look at or do.
It's my turn, John?
I think
No
so.
selectmen's report.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, well, is this Joyce's official last meeting?
Yes, it is.
Well, I think Joyce needs to come up here and say something official
Official.
on, to be put into the minutes.
Hasta la vista.
I'll take it.
I've been cleaning boxes and for the past couple of days.
Oh.
But I promised the employees that I would make room for a table in the assessing office. And I've been fortunate that
Make room.
we have a community service person that's been helping me. And Rob was up today and helped me move a bunch of boxes, but I think I overdid it. But I just, I'm bad at goodbye, so I'm just giving you a hard card. That's cute. And John, if I misspelled your name on the inside, I'm so sorry. I've been doing too much. Joe. Don't say the same thing. So if anybody wants to read one, it comes from my heart.
Oh, just sign these things and keep moving.
No, wait, Jack.
Oh, no. Actually, yours is a little different. Yay! You got a different card. Than the ones I couldn't resist when I saw it.
She has me curious now. Oh, because mine has dogs on it.
We have an R card? Haven't seen the R card.
Did you look on the back of the picture?
John, open the
No.
payroll. Thing in the to be signed. John,
file.
open the payroll book. Payroll book. Oh my goodness.
A moment to be remembered.
And I think on yours I put the label on upside down.
That's all right,
Going away
Joyce.
present, how many stuff. Yeah, this is, putting that.
That's so nice.
John?
So I mean that because the best way I can thank you, seriously, is to recognize you, who you are, and what you've done for Tilton. And I got to be a part of that, and I mean that from my heart. And otherwise, I'll just start laughing.
Thank you.
Don't do that. Help me become a better person.
Well, it worked, Joyce. You are a great person.
I like this. I like this. I know what that is.
You may not be going to Aruba or anything with it, but you could get a nice sweater.
We do appreciate you.
Well, thank you. Oh, even Cindy signed it.
Oh my gosh, you're on camera.
Okay, Joe?
Now it's me.
Go.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the last Joyce Fullweiler meeting of the selectmen. Vote with your feet.
Never goodbye. See you later. Not yet. I'll
Let's-
be around.
Party! Party!
Thank you.
So moved.
Love you, Joyce.